Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News 22.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions visited the borderland and was welcomed by sheriffs and protesters.
New Mexico senior senator squares off with the Facebook CEO.
And Marlene Barraza shows us some old war dogs from World War II.
All that and more on News 22 Wednesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Adán Contreras.
And I'm Amanda Adame. The immigration debate is front and center today in Las Cruces. On one side, the Attorney General of the United States.
On the other side, protesters who say his policies are inhumane. News 22's Amanda Byers reports.
Outside, around 60 protesters raised their voices to oppose the immigration policies of the Trump administration and the visit by the Attorney General. They carried signs, Aggies against the wall, a neighborhood not a war zone, don't militarize the border. While inside, U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said the goal is tightening up the border.
I've ordered each United States Attorney's offices along the southwest border to have a zero-tolerance policy toward illegal entry. Our goal is to prosecute every case that is brought to us.
Sessions was the keynote speaker for the meeting of the Coalition of Border Sheriffs. Sheriffs who are most familiar with the country's broken immigration policy. Larry Spence of Willacy County, Texas, says he appreciates the support, but is not convinced a wall is the best answer.
Do we want a wall? Is there a necessary wall? In some areas, probably yes. Other areas, no.
The executive director of the National Sheriff's Association says he is hopeful the attention will bring more resources.
But we do have to realize that keeping our community safe and protected is not free. It's not cheap.
But for Sessions, it's the right thing to do.
If you break into our country, we will prosecute you. It's just that simple. Our goal ultimately is not arrest, see how many we can arrest, but our goal is to deter people from attempting to come illegally.
But the protesters weren't deterred. They stayed until the Attorney General was finished with his meetings. Amanda Byers, News 22.
The CEO of Facebook is back on Capitol Hill for his second day of hearings, and today the questions are tougher. Lawmakers question him on issues ranging from user privacy to Russian interference to censorship. New Mexico Senator Tom Udall became frustrated with Zuckerberg's answers.
Are you going to come back and be a strong advocate? You're angry about this? You think there ought to be change? There ought to be a law put in place? Or are you going to come back and be an advocate to get a law in place like that?
Senator, our team is certainly going to work on this. What I can say is the biggest thing
I'm talking about you, not your team.
Well, Senator, I try not to come
here and be an advocate for that law.
CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is testifying on behalf of the company concerning leaked information regarding voter info.
The heat was so bad it had me sweating just walking to class today.
I know, me too. And Selena is next to tell us more with weather.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions. Right now we are seeing sunny skies. We had a great day here in Las Cruces. The sun was definitely out shining bright. We are at a temperature of 87 degrees. Winds are coming at 10 miles per hour from the west. Humidity is at 6%, dew point 16 degrees with a barometer of 29.73 inches. Today we did hit a high degrees of 92 with an overnight low of 58. The average for today's day is 75. As you can see, we are well above average. Taking back in time to the year 1971, we did hit a high temperature of 90 degrees. And in the year 2013, we did hit a low of 33 degrees. There was no rain today, but just make sure to keep it here and stay tuned, because just because the weather is looking good here, it doesn't mean it's looking good everywhere else. Back to you at the desk. I'll be back with that next.
A 58-year-old Las Cruces man is dead. Police say he committed suicide after shooting his girlfriend. The incident happened this morning at about 8:30 in a house on Elks Drive. It caused the nearby Vista Middle School and Columbia Elementary School to be placed on lockdown. The woman was transported to a hospital. She's in critical condition. The lockdown at the schools ended at around 11:30 this morning. No one in the school was injured. A Las Cruces man is being charged with murder. Police say he stabbed one of his relatives. Michael Herrera was arrested Tuesday for the stabbing of his cousin. The victim said he was visiting his grandmother when Herrera approached him in an angry manner and cut his palm with a knife and then stabbed him in the upper chest. Herrera is being held without bond at the Doña Ana County Jail.
A 20-year-old man is facing up to 19 years in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder. Taylor James Enriquez admitted to the beating death of 23-year-old Alberto Nunez. He was charged with the 2017 beating to death of 23-year-old Alberto Nunez Lopez of Mesquite. The two men got into an argument last year, and Enriquez admitted to striking Nunez Lopez in the neck with a shovel, hitting him over the head with a beer bottle, and stabbing him in the neck. He also admitted to beating up his 61-year-old housemate. A new vehicle is coming to Spaceport America. A release was sent out noting significant progress towards the launch of their new vehicle, Sarge. Sarge was built in honor of astronaut Alan B. Shepard and is scheduled to launch on May 5th. Exos is now booking payloads on its Sarge vehicle and has space available. If interested, contact them at www.exosaero.com.
NMSU is ranked top 20 for yet another accomplishment. New Mexico State has been ranked 19th in the nation as one of the most affordable online universities according to College Choice. 50 universities nationwide have been recognized, and NMSU is the only in the Southwest to be top 20. NMSU's deputy provost said he is always excited when the rest of the nation learns about what we already know, that NMSU has a great education at an affordable price.
I wonder if it was as hot as it was around the nation.
And Selena's going to tell us that. Keep it right here when she comes back with your national forecast.
But first, Marlene Barraza shows us how time flies when you're having fun. More on that when News 22 continues.
At a recent KRWG coffee visit, we talked with KRWG fans about why they value public media.
The fact that you're here in T or C says a lot to me, that you're interested in our community.
KRWG is my major source of information and entertainment.
Please support public radio. If not for yourself, do it for me.
Become a member online at krwg.org or call 1-888-922-5794. Thank you.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
I left my heart. I can count on the fingers of one hand the people who have shaped my life.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station, sign in, and start streaming today.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Wednesday,
where news matters. This week celebrates American Indian Week here on campus.
And today at the American Indian Student Center, students were able to view a taco demonstration and enjoy the traditional dish. For some, it was a way to connect to the roots, and for others, it was a cultural learning experience.
Back when Native Americans were put on the reservations, they were only given like flour and some other stuff. I don't know what it was, and I think that's where it started. They just made what they could with what they had.
American Indian Week continues throughout the week. Tomorrow they'll have the Native Street demonstration on campus from 2 to 6 p.m. The 5th annual Jewish Food and Folk Festival is coming to Las Cruces, Sunday, April 15th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Temple Bethel. There will be a Jewish food, dancing, and many more activities to enjoy, along with special performances by klezmer artist Margot Leverett and Santa Fe musician Jordan Wax. The admission fee is $3, and kids under 12 get in free.
In addition to the Jewish Cultural Festival, Las Cruces' Space Festival will also be taking place this week. The festival starts tomorrow and continues all the way through Sunday. City Hall also joined in on the action by constructing a replica of a spaceship in their parking lot. Throughout the 3-day event, space-themed events are planned throughout the city, including space-themed movie showing at Rio Grande Theater.
There's a whole fleet of old airplanes flying all over the U.S.
The planes were at the Santa Teresa Airport this past weekend, and News 22's Marlene Barraza went to take a look.
It was a throwback in aviation history. Vintage warplanes that helped win World War II. The B-17 Flying Fortress, a P-51 Mustang, and many others.
Going through the inside of the plane, you cannot help but get claustrophobic. Going from one end to the other of the plane, it's an acrobatic experience that was probably made for children, but certainly people were able to get through.
Some even had a special connection to these rare treasures.
Ian comes from a big aviation family. His grandmother's name is up on the side of this B-17. Her name is Carolyn Green. And so we came out today to introduce him to the B-17 and to all these awesome planes.
Maintaining an airplane can be a daunting task. These planes are more than 70 years old, but they're still flying.
I had an opportunity to meet a lot of great old veterans, guys that actually flew the airplanes during World War II, and talk to them and hear some of their stories. It's always been a great honor to be able to meet those guys and talk to them, and they just did a wonderful thing, wonderful job. And that's why we try to keep these airplanes alive, to be able to keep this history in front of these younger generations, and hopefully they'll be able to go through the airplanes and see what kind of hardships these kids might have gone through, flying at 30,000 feet, 50 below zero. You know, it's quite an experience.
And for more adventure, the event offered flights if you had some extra cash. I'm Marlene Barraza for News 22.
The tour's next stop is scheduled to be in Bullhead City, Arizona, tomorrow afternoon. Strawberry season is upon us, but before you indulge in that sweet treat, make sure to wash them well. For the third year in a row, strawberries have topped the Dirty Dozen list from the Environmental Working Group. Researchers with the nonprofit nonpartisan group rank pesticide contamination in dozens of fruits and vegetables. Spinach came in the runner-up slot, followed by nectarines, apples, and grapes. The group says close to 70% of all non-organic food has some sort of contamination. Living in sunny Hawaii may be healthier for you. Scientists say people in the Aloha State live longer than people in any other.
Mary Maloney explains how long in today's Health Minute.
Could where you live determine how long you have to live? Maybe not entirely, but according to a recent study, it could have a significant impact. The study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association this week compared state-by-state differences in diseases and life expectancy at birth. A variety of factors were used to measure this in each state, including diet, obesity, elevated blood pressure, tobacco, and physical inactivity. In 2016, Hawaii had the longest life expectancy at birth at 81.3 years. California was a close second, with residents living on average to nearly 81 years. That's a huge improvement for the Golden State that ranked 24th back in 1990. Mississippi still ranked last, 28 years after the original study. Life expectancy at birth in Mississippi was 74.4 years in 2016. West Virginia and Alabama didn't fare much better. Both are under 76 years. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
With the heat kicking in here, I wonder what the rest of it was like around the nation.
Me too, and Selena's next to tell us more with the weather.gov national forecast.
That's right. It may be nice and hot here, but it's not looking so hot in other places. Check this out. Kansas City, Memphis, Jackson, Houston, Dallas, and Indianapolis. You guys are going to be seeing some damaging winds, flash flooding, hail, isolated tornadoes late Friday through Saturday, so make sure you guys take cover and stay inside. Moving on to our next map, we're also going to be looking at some storms that are going to be taking place. It's going to be more of a downpour, more of a rain, Sunday through Sunday night, flash flooding, travel delays, local severe thunderstorms, so make sure you guys are prepared for that. And moving on to our last map, we're just going to go ahead and take a look what the weather's going to look like tomorrow around the United States. Salt Lake City, 54 degrees. Phoenix, you're nice and warm at 82 degrees. San Antonio, a bit hotter at 85 degrees. Kansas City, 78. Chicago, 70. And Atlanta, you guys are at 76 degrees. That is all I have for right now. After the break, I'll be back with some temperatures around our region. Keep it here.
Well, love could not keep the captain and Tennille together, forcing Toni Tennille to make the toughest decision of her life.
Our candid conversation with her, plus a look at a man who is smashing stereotypes despite a disability.
All on the next Growing Bolder.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
My husband called it a princess cup.
It's exceptionally beautiful.
So is the family story correct?
Wow. Wow.
Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Portland, Oregon.
Monday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
The environmental policemen we pay to protect us were actually the environmental criminals.
It's just unconscionable that Freedom Industries did not report the leak.
We are the first human beings this chemical has ever been experimented on.
We've had the daughter to the hospital, but her neck started to swell.
You assume that everybody are telling the truth.
And if you can get away with it, you will do that.
We all have the same question. Is Bywater really safe?
What lies upstream?
Monday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back to News 22 Wednesday. Let's go ahead and take a look at some temperatures around our region. Farmington, you guys are at 75 degrees. Albuquerque, 80. Socorro, 84. Roswell, 88. Las Cruces, we're a bit cooler at 87 degrees. And Deming, you guys are at 86 degrees. Winds are going to kick up tomorrow with Farmington at 63 degrees. Santa Fe, 66. Socorro, 76. Roswell, 86 degrees. Las Cruces, 83. With Deming a bit cooler at 78 degrees. Alamogordo, you will be seeing partly cloudy skies tonight with a temperature of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, be expecting those nice sunny skies with a high of 87. Truth or Consequences, clear skies tonight, a temperature of 59 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny skies with a high of 85. Silver City, you will be having clouds in the forecast tonight with a temperature of 49 degrees. Be expecting those winds to kick up with a high of 74 tomorrow. And here in Las Cruces, we'll be seeing some clouds in the forecast as well with a low tonight of 58 degrees. Tomorrow, we will also have some clouds with a high of 87. That's all I have for right now. I'll be back later with your 5-day forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
The Facebook page Old Minneapolis posted a picture this week of a mummified monkey found in an attic during a building renovation.
Online amateur detectives have had fun guessing about where it came from. But as Kate Raditz reports, one family says a story passed down through the generations could solve the mystery.
Yeah, his best buddy.
Robbinsdale Mayor Regan Murphy knew his father as a stoic man.
It's kind of fun to learn about the side we didn't know about my dad.
It wasn't until he passed away that family friends told him about Larry Murphy's more mischievous past.
They got in a lot of trouble.
He's an Irish boy. I think that says it all.
Monica Murphy met Larry in high school in the 60s, and they eventually married. He told her a story from junior high when he and a buddy stole a monkey from the pet store at Dayton's.
Monkeys are not housebroken. The monkey was discovered by Tom's mom, and she said absolutely not. Can't have it, can't keep it.
They brought it back to the store and released it, never knowing what happened to it. When the family saw the picture of the mysterious mummified monkey on Facebook nearly 6 decades later, they couldn't believe it.
I have one story. I have one story of how it could have happened. I can't say for sure, but...
Do you think it's the monkey?
I do.
Larry died in 2001 after a battle with cancer. His friend Tom, who conspired to steal that monkey, also passed away last year.
This would be 1965.
The Murphys say the bizarre discovery feels like Larry is still pulling his tricks.
You know, he's a great dad and miss him dearly, and it's fun to be able to I've been smiling since I saw this story because it's just a good memory, and you know, for this to come about the way it is, he's probably laughing right now.
It's nice to have baseball back in the region with the Chihuahuas during their season.
It's getting very exciting, and David Guest is here to tell us more with sports.
That's right, the Chihuahuas are back. Thanks, Amanda. Coming up in sports, a former New Mexico State basketball player has found a new home in the NBA with a team that's headed to the playoffs. Don't go too far because News 22 Sports is next.
Next time on Call the Midwife.
You have taken another wife?
We are blessed.
You are the father? There she is! I wonder if she felt lonely up there by herself.
She's a fearless adventurer, fulfilling her destiny. You're a nurse and a midwife, and there are rules you've broken.
Are you going to report me?
Thursday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Next time on Soundbreaking.
The first single I bought was I Wanna Hold Your Hand by the Beatles.
Everything about vinyl was great. The smell of it.
Our on-again, off-again love affair with musical formats.
If there's a girl that you're really into, I go make her a mixtape.
The format shift in the record industry, on average, is 15 years.
CDs are disappearing.
Friday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm David Guest with the best in sports news. 10 years ago, Jonathan Gibson, a freshman at New Mexico State, scored 2 points on a reverse layup to secure New Mexico State's first Western Athletic Conference title. Gibson is 7th in program history for career points scored. After going undrafted in 2010, Gibson has spent time playing in Turkey, Israel, and China before landing with the Dallas Mavericks in 2016. After a short 17-game stint, Gibson returned to China, where he was a sensation. Friday night, a 30-year-old Gibson took the floor as a Boston Celtic, wearing number 60 in honor of his back-to-back 60-point scoring games in China. He would score 9 points in just 6 minutes, then receive a standing ovation from the crowd. With one final regular season game to play before the playoffs, Jonathan will have one last chance to fight for a spot on the 15-man roster as the Celtics take on the Brooklyn Nets this evening. The Aggie men's golf team remains competitive after a strong showing at the Aggie Invitational on Sunday. The Aggies placed 12th, tying with their in-state rival Lobos. They shot a team score of 931. Nothing to sneeze at considering number 1 Oklahoma State took home first place with a score of 869, while the number 2 Texas A&M and number 12 LSU trailed Kent State for 3rd place. Isaac Mary led the Crimson and White, shooting 10 under par to place 35th. The Aggies' next tournament is April 14th and 15th in Phoenix, Arizona. Senior New Mexico State guard Zach Lofton has been invited to play in the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. The tournament consists of 64 of the top college seniors in the nation. So representatives from all 30 NBA teams will be in attendance. Lofton will be on Team 3 with Baylor's Joe Luau-Asul Jr., California's Marcus Lee, Cincinnati's Gary Clark, LaSalle's B.J. Johnson, Florida's Igor Kucherov, Minnesota's Nate Mason, and Notre Dame's Matt Farrell. The New Mexico State football team will need to make yet another adjustment to their schedule for next season. Originally slated for an October 20th matchup with the Georgia Southern Eagles to be played in Las Cruces, has been rescheduled for Friday, October 26th at Paulson Stadium. It remains unclear how the team will manage 2 games in just as many days, as it will be traveling to San Marcos, Texas the following day to play Texas State. And baseball season is in the air, and in addition to the MLB starting its season last week, the Borderlands' very own El Paso Chihuahuas opened last night. News 22's Mike Vahil was there to capture all the action. Check it out.
Happy opening day, welcome, welcome.
Here's your 4 for today.
Tonight's opening night, baby.
Lemonade!
2 ultras? Thank you. I mean, a big baseball fan, you've got to be here for opening night. You know, so I'm here with my buddies.
We're here with our family. It's fun, it's outdoors. You get to see a lot of people that you know.
All right, take it easy, y'all. Got some nice seats, good view. And favorite part is the food. Cataport, get your cataport.
Oh, he loves everything, man. He likes the atmosphere. He likes the actual game itself.
The people, the culture.
Yeah, just being with him, making memories.
We try to come once, maybe twice a month if we can.
As you walk up to the stadium, I mean, you just see the smell of the hot dogs. You know, you see the young kids. Kettle corn, sir.
Great ballpark. There's not a bad seat in this entire park. It's a wonderful place.
It's fun. It's a good environment. It's fun to come and hang out with your friends.
I hope we take it all the way.
Another championship banner. That's what I'm expecting.
Go Chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas. Go Chihuahuas.
Or like this. Chihuahua like this.
Fear the ears, baby.
We hope that gets you in the mood. That's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action next week. Still ahead on News 22, Selena will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, one comedian gets honored on his road to recovery.
The rise of the music video was a game changer for pop music.
Songs became grander and bigger.
I cut my hair, I dyed it. It was a kind of statement to say that you're at odds with society.
If you know how to shock, you know how to rock.
Friday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
My husband called it a princess cup.
It's exceptionally beautiful.
So is the family story correct?
Wow. Wow.
Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Portland, Oregon.
Monday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Comedian Tracy Morgan was honored in Hollywood yesterday with his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The funny man has starred in several films and TV shows including 30 Rock and the TBS series The Last OG. Fellow comedians Jordan Peele and Martin Lawrence were on hand to unveil the star. And in true Tracy Morgan fashion, he accepted the honor. Morgan spent 7 years on Saturday Night Live from 1996 to 2003, and then starred in his own television show, The Tracy Morgan Show, for 1 season. He was really funny on SNL.
I was a big fan. And Selena, tell us how our 5 days are looking for us.
The next 5 days are looking pretty good. Friday and Saturday, we do get a little bit on the cooler side, but then we kick it back up to the 80s on Sunday and Monday. So it's going to look like a great week for us.
Great, I'm looking forward to it. And don't forget, you can catch all today's aired stories and past newscasts on our YouTube page, KRWG News 22.
And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat for show updates and the latest on what the News 22 team is up to.
And that's all for News 22 Wednesday. Thank you everyone for joining us. Tune in tomorrow as we take a look. I'm Amanda Adame.
I'm Adán Contreras.
I'm Selena Madrid. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Yo soy Jazmín Anaya. Un hombre sospechoso por apuñalar a un familiar fue arrestado el martes por la tarde. Michael Herrera, de 21 años de edad, enfrenta cargos por supuestamente apuñalar a su primo. El incidente ocurrió el 14 de marzo mientras la víctima, un hombre de 46 años, se encontraba a las afueras de una casa de la calle Dr. King. Según el reporte oficial, Herrera se encontraba fuera de la casa esperando a la víctima dentro de un vehículo rojo. Cuando la víctima salió de la casa, Herrera lo amenazó para después atacarlo. La víctima fue transportada al Centro Regional Médico Mountain View. Por el momento, Herrera se encuentra en el centro de detención del condado de Doña Ana sin derecho a fianza. Una mujer sospechosa de manejar bajo la influencia del alcohol enfrenta cargos por abuso infantil. Desiree Mirval, de 36 años, fue arrestada después de verse involucrada en un accidente de auto el domingo por la noche en la carretera 70 cerca del Boulevard Sonoma Ranch. Los oficiales en la escena reportaron que Mirval se encontraba manejando el vehículo mientras llevaba a su hija de 7 años como pasajera del vehículo. Mirval admitió haber consumido alcohol antes de manejar. Después de exámenes adicionales, se confirmó que Mirval se encontraba intoxicada al momento del accidente. Mirval fue liberada del centro de detención del condado de Doña Ana después de haber pagado su fianza. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Para Noticias 22, Jazmín Anaya.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.